everybody? I feel love. I want to feel that render love, and I want to make everybody out there know that they should be in this talk. Hey, everybody! Yeah! I love it. I love it. All right, everybody. Let's get started here. I only have 25 minutes, and at the end of this, all of you will be AI experts, right? And we're going to do this. I had this originally with coding. Yeah! I'm just going to be copying and pasting and hitting the save button. I'm not that brave today with 25 minutes on the clock, but we're going to go ahead and make this happen. First off, I have to say thanks. If you come up and talk to us, or if you've seen my business partner, Jamin, we work at Infinite Red. We are the React Native experts. We throw the React Native conference. Basically, what we do is we take JavaScript and we put it in all the places it shouldn't be. We put it in iOS, we put it in Android, Apple TV, Windows. This is what we do. So, of course, when AI starts to take off, what's the first thing I'm going to do? I'm going to do it in JavaScript. So, this is a little bit about me. First of all, that's a picture we just took just a minute ago. That looks just like me. CIO of Infinite Red, React Native Core contributor, GDE, and Gant Laborde on Twitter. Another fun fact, I actually wrote the book on how to do TensorFlow.js. Now, if you don't know what TensorFlow is or TensorFlow.js is, it's okay. It's kind of like a buzzword for a lot of people, but it's a framework for building or implementing AI. And we did a workshop on it on Wednesday. It was extremely successful. Can I hear a round of applause for anybody who went to our workshop? Yeah! Good, good. I'm glad y'all stayed. Additionally, I didn't bring my photographer with me. I'm not like Taylor Desson. I'm not that cool. So what I would love to do is I want you to take photos and go ahead and tag RenderATL23. If you tag with the photo RenderATL23, I have 3 copies of my book, which I plan on giving away in the speaker room afterward. We'll name the names at the end of my talk. So if you want a chance to win a free book and you're interested in this concept, be sure to take photos and tweet them at RenderATL23. So machine learning, this is an interesting aspect. What is it? What's going on? Well, we've all heard about AI. And under AI, there's been this concept of machine learning where the data does the teaching. The data is the major thing that's coming along and making everything happen. You're not teaching something to step up, step down, move left, move right. You're showing it examples of what you want it to do, and it figures out the algorithm, and on the other side, we have the solution. And that sounds amazing, right? So that's what we want to have in our everyday life. And that means that once we do that, we get this idea of narrow intelligence that can do everything. It could do all these amazing things, and we apply that. Now, I do want to talk about the idea that some people are like, hey, is AI here to take my job? Absolutely not. And you can quote me on that, but people ask about this all the time. There's actually a talk later at 4:40 where you'll hear the same thing again on the main stage. And it's a really cool aspect, but this is a tool. This is a tool that can do things that have never been done before, right? It used to be cool when you pulled up a web page and you showed somebody, it says, hey there, how you doing? It used to be cool when you pull out your phone and there was an app that said, hey there, how you doing? But now it's even cooler because there are things that people have never done before, and you can come up with an infinite supply of those, and they're applying to every single business. I've been saying that since 2017, but now you see that it's coming in, and everybody's like, oh, okay, now I see it. Now it's going to happen. And the thing is, you, as the developers, as long as you're empowered, you're the ones who are going to say what happens. You're the ones who are going to say what we can do next. And we're going to go through some ideas there, but there is a big drop-off when you get into machine learning. It looks like it's going to be this wonderful, magical thing, and then you go take your MIT course, and then 50 hours later, you're just crying, because that was a lot of calculus, right? And the trick is we all want to apply machine learning to our tasks. Nobody wants to code FizzBuzz. Why not train a model to go ahead and solve FizzBuzz? That's the fun thing to do. So we want to go ahead and get to the end. We don't want all the math. So that says, like, all right, that sounds great, but why are we going to go ahead and do that in JavaScript? And I'm so glad you asked that question, because JavaScript goes everywhere. JavaScript's on IoT devices, it's in the browser, it's in your phones. And then once you get into JavaScript, you get all these extra applications. And it also accesses the GPU. We have directly tied in so that you can get real-time inference even in the browser. And you might be like, wow, that's really cool. I'd love to see that actually happen. And I think that's something we should definitely do. But first of all, I want to show you a very important application that I made that identifies whether a person is or is not Nicolas Cage. And some reason the App Store did not want this app to go through until I threatened them that they must be with the Illuminati, and then they approved it. So, yes, there's a whole thing about this. So for practicality, we can bring in AI to the browser and to edge devices to your phones with TensorFlow and TensorFlow.js. Here's an application, and I am not brave enough. I told everybody in my workshop, I will not do this demo live. There is no way. I will mess it up. But this great open source repository, which has used hundreds and hundreds of Discord servers, checks indecent content. So when you drag the image over, it tells you whether or not it should be there or not. So imagine in your conference app, someone sends you a message, and then the AI goes, we're 98% sure you should not open this message from Ken Wheeler. And then you say, no problem. I will not open this message, and you can click deny. But we can do some other things, because the fact that it's on device means that you can get real time. It means that you can get this, you're not sending your face off to Russia every day. So we had a client that was doing try-on makeup, which was a really cool project. And then I did get approval to go ahead and show this demo at least. But they're able to instantly try on the makeup when they click the buttons, and then they can say add to cart and buy that makeup that makes them look that way. And building that project with one of our coworkers late at night, the pull request came with GIFs like this. And it was one of my favorite things that ever happened. Leon's never looked so fabulous. Good job, Leon. So, how do we kind of do this? Well, I'd love to show you, because, why not? Let's do a live demo that can go completely wrong. Let's do that right now. That sounds like a plan. Yeah? But, trick's on you. I need your help. Because like I said, it's on client devices. So, I want you to go to enjoyingthe.show/room/render. Or you can go to enjoyingthe.show and then say join room and type render. Okay, so this is the URL you need, enjoyingthe.show, and then join the render room. Let's see if this works on my side. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try to see how this goes. Render. So I'm watching the render room. And I can see, 50, 54 people. Now it's going to ask for access to your camera. Please give it access to your camera. And what you're doing there is you're not sending your face to me at all. What you see on your phone is running on your phone right now, real time. And it's figuring out the string of how you look, how you're doing, and it's just sending off those strings through a server, and then through AWS Amplify, yay, we're able to go ahead and see all this in real time with a GraphQL subscription. So if I can get everybody to be real happy at their phone, can I get everybody really happy for a moment so you can prove it's real? Just look at that phone and be super happy. Who's being sad, okay? Stop the sad part. Yes, here comes the happies. Good, 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 good. And then so you can see it. Now everybody try to be like really scared at your phone, like or angry at it. Yeah? Oh, here comes the angries and the sads. Don't laugh while you're doing it, it messes it up. But yeah, what's really great about this is that this website's available. Somebody's being surprised. I love it. So make your faces, and you can see the face that you're making right now on your phone is getting collaborated with everybody else and 154 other people and sent to this pie chart so that we're seeing that right now. And so if everybody, can I get one more big smile from everybody? Yeah, super happy. We'll see it come through. Yeah, here it comes. There it is. Thank you so much. And thanks for doing that demo. Oh, wow, they're happy about it, yeah. And y'all can do this anytime you want. Just go to Enjoying the Show, create a room, watch a room. It's really weird when you make one room for yourself and you're at the airport and you're making those faces and everybody's like, what's wrong with that guy over there? And you're like, trying to get to be disgusted. I don't know. Glad only one of you has been disgusted this entire time. I appreciate that. So, that was running on your device. That's the power of what we can have. And my server cost for AWS Amplify is not going to be holding me up at night, being sad at all the costs. Y'all are sending little strings that say happy or sad or neutral, and all the work was done on your phone and your devices right then. These are a good set of examples, but let's go ahead and let's do some more fun examples. We do this over and over and over again. Let's access the camera. Let's go ahead and do other things. Let's train it to do this. Let's train it to do that. Really fun little examples that I've done quite a bit, and they read the webcam input, they read the image, they do these parts. So one of the things that actually happened is it seemed like it was a really complicated task, and people would start, clients would come to us, and they say, like, look, we're looking to do this, but we want it in real time on the browser, and they have these unrealistic expectations that come through. And so we have to figure out how to deal with those, because starting a project versus when we end our AI projects was a little stressful. So when we had one particular client come through, I suggested this idea of how do we go ahead and do something, and we created an open source repository called AI Lab. Now, we did that for there, and there might be more announcements coming up over the next few months about AI Lab and other features it can have, but let me show you just a little bit about what AI Lab can do now. All right? So yes, it is open source, and let's do some more live stuff. So here we have AI Lab, and we have some simple React website. So I've started this off, and like I said, I'm totally cheating the whole time. I'm just going to be changing and commenting out code. But what we have here is a really simple component that's loaded into the screen, so that you can see we have this model that's being loaded in by TensorFlow, and models are like functions. They get some data in, and then they get some stuff out. Your face goes in, your emotion comes out. Models are super cool, and this thing that I'm showing right here is called TF Hub. TF Hub is like a shopping mall for models that are available that you can use already today. And so what I'm doing here is I'm loading the model, and then when it's loaded, I say, let's go. So I'm going to go ahead and switch that over to now, when the model's loaded, I'm going to bring it into AI Lab and say, I want to do a local video. On the local video, I want to feed you the model. This is the configurations I want for the model. And on inference, I want you, which means it runs it, this is the function I want you to call, and I'm filtering for just people, because that's at index 0. All right? I know that was a lot to go over. It's a short amount of time for the talk, but you can see this component's not blowing anybody away. Is this an extremely complicated component? No. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to the index. I'm going to move it over here and say save. And then our code moves over to this. So here's a local video. What do we need to do? We have inputs, videos, webcams, images. What do we need to connect them to? Models, different things that do kinds of stuff. And then when it runs it through it, we want to do a thing with it. And so what I have over here, if I press the button right here, we should be detecting a person at 32, 33 frames per second. That's pretty cool. And I have the background turning red. You can see the code right here. Basically, when a person's detected, I want you to go ahead and change the background to red with this ternary. So that's pretty cool. We're able to actually have the model run. We're telling it to look at a video, and we have that person being detected with a super minimal amount of code. And you might say to yourself, well, okay, Gant, I've seen that in movies. I don't know what the hell to do with that, right? I've got it, but now what do I do? And that, my friends, is the question. We have products all around us that are begging for AI interactions with us. And the first people who do it are going to be the Uber for this or the this for that. The people who tie in the correct AI into the correct mobile application or website are going to be the ones that sell the product and set the standards. You can come up with those ideas. Your team can come up with those ideas in a 1-hour brainstorming session. So I'm going to make up a fake idea, and we're going to show you that code. The idea here is that I have an Airbnb, and I have supposedly 3 people who are supposed to be in there. Now, I'm going to pretend that this is real privacy. I don't want them to have 4 people in there because then they're throwing a party. I mean, let them throw the party, but let's see what happens here. So what I could do is I can, with a simple amount of code, I could have the same thing where I'm filtering out for people, but then if you look up here, I have set total people. And now I just have a ternary that instead of when it detects a person, when it detects more than 3 people, turn the background red. But it could send you a text message that says, hey, we detected 20 people in your loft apartment. You might want to show up and check what's going on. But for this example, let's take a look at exactly how that works. So we're going to go back over here. We're going to comment out detect person and go to detect people. We're running the code now. And let's see how this runs. So we hit play. We've got 32 frames per second, and there you go. After you see it's turning red when it detects 4 people, and then the people walk off, we're set. With the code saying, give me the people, and when the number is greater than 3. That's basic programming. The idea of bringing AI to do that was the cool part, with a small amount of code. And you might see like it flickers for a minute. Let's find out what happened here. We have people crossing past each other, but when they cross from this camera angle, you could see that sometimes the boxes don't catch them. This is a terrible place to put your camera for your party. But you could see why the flickering was happening. As the people were going past, the number was sometimes dropping immediately below 3 and then coming right back to it. Okay, that sounds fantastic. And lastly, I'm going to give you another free idea. Why not? Let's do it again. We have 9 minutes. Let's do it. So the last idea I want to show you here is we want to, when you're at the airport, what happens? You leave and you walk through that little scanner thing, and sometimes in the New Orleans airport, there's 2 security guards. There's one security guard from TSA and one from the New Orleans Police Department. Their job is to make sure that when you walk out of security, you don't walk back in. That's their whole job, just to make sure that people don't go on this side of the room. That's their whole job. Well, let's replace that real quick with AI, because I walk past those people, they're not happy about their jobs. They're sitting there, they're like, no, you can't go this way. Okay, fine, that's fantastic. So, or assist them. A little alarm could go off and alert a person if there was something going on there, because I would do that first. So, we're gonna go to App Complete here, bring that in, and we're gonna take a look at App Complete for a second here. It's the same AI Lab local video. It's still using the same model. It's still doing a simple detection of people. And then what we have is we're cutting the room in half, okay? And we're getting the detecting boxes that are on the person in there. That tells us the position of the person inside the frame. And when we cut this in half, we say, hey, the wrong side of this room is 50% of the room. So if you are on the wrong side of the room, then obviously you shouldn't be over there. You could set this up in your office and see whoever's going there and touching your stuff when you're not looking around. There should only be a certain person who's actually going into your office. It's fantastic. So what we say is that when the detecting box, I'm just looking at the X coordinate. That's all I'm looking at. When the X coordinate of that person crosses the threshold of 50% of that screen, let's go ahead and make the screen red. So people who are danger people, who are on the wrong side of the screen, is greater than 0, make the background red. So here we go. That's a small amount of code. It's a cool idea. Let's see how it works. So there's a line down the middle. And what I need you to do, Render, is, because this is a lot of fun for me, but it's got to be a lot of fun for you, if this person walks to the wrong side of the screen and then it turns red, I need you to applaud, okay? Because if you don't, I fall down dead. That's a real rule. That's how it works. So let's see. Did we write an entire person's boring part of their job for them in just a second? Don't you do it. Don't you go on that side. Don't you look at me. Ah! She did it. And we have these little analytics down here. We have the information. That's just a couple of ideas. Those are free ideas. Please take those. I'm not setting up webcams for anybody else like that. But that's what we're able to build in a small amount of code. And this is what a lot of what we're trying to do is. AI should not require a PhD. It shouldn't require a master's. It shouldn't require a degree. Everybody in this room should be implementing it. And you should be having it in your app, and we should be working together on it. Because through democratized AI, we're going to make it balanced. We're going to make sure it's fun. We're going to make sure it's actually accessible. We're going to make sure it's not biased. And that means that all of you have to take up that charge as well. So we've seen a bit of this. Here's, actually, I did get this approved by the client. There's me being weird. But this is what we delivered for the client. This is what AI Lab first had on there, is that they wanted to make sure that a person's doing a squat. And one of the things they wanted to make sure of when they were doing their squat is that they were doing it and we couldn't tell them where the phone would be, where the device would be. How do you tell they're actually doing their workout? Well, what we have here is through AI Lab, we're getting 3D points in 3D space, and we're normalizing it so it's always facing the camera, and then we're verifying if that looks like a squat or not. It's really interesting. If you want to talk a lot more about this, I can talk a certain amount about it. Might have to ask Jamin about our NDA. But they did verify that I could at least show you this, and this was written on AI Lab. So, and I do think, like I said, I do want to make some announcements. Eventually, it won't be here, but there'll be more stuff that I would love to do for AI Lab. So, like I said, what's the next step? You coming up with those ideas. When you start, you're going to have a document. That document's going to have one idea on it, and you're going to try to work on it. And then you're going to reach out to me. And then we're going to work on it, right? And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to build more ideas and more. And eventually you're going to run out of time because you're going to have to start figuring out what AI idea you can build with the amount of time that you have. And with this, I think that that's where we kind of like, that's where the exciting stuff happens. We're all building things nobody's ever seen before. It's not the same website. It's not the same experience. So what I'd love to do real quick is, if you have tweeted photos of the book, Jamin, can you give me 3 names? All right, go ahead and shout out those names, and these people will meet me in the QA for their book. Hey! Can we pretend we planned that? Oh, it must have been sold out. Does anybody here not have the book? Oh. Yeah, Hunter? Nice. Who else? Sleech? All right. And then for the last one, you want them to just go over there and we'll pick a person? Or you have a third?
I can pick the third?
Pick the third.
Okay, all right. Let's see here. Daniel
Yeah! Y'all are amazing. Thank you for doing the demos. Thank you for watching me, quote unquote, live code. Thank you for everybody who went to the workshops. Thank you, RenderATL, for filling up a room. Y'all are all amazing people.